Pixel 7a is a huge upgrade over the Pixel 6a. Now, you might be thinking, oh, that's crazy talk. Why are you saying that? Well, because it's true. This might be one of the biggest year-over-year upgrades I've ever seen in a phone. Now, when you compare it to the Pixel 7, you go, okay, why are they selling the Pixel 7 with a different name? But when you look at it from last year, when you look at the Pixel 6a, which the Pixel 6a was a huge upgrade, right? It was the first fundamental change in the design, going from the Pixel 5a to the 6a, and it still had that great tried and true pixel camera and 60 hertz refresh rate, 6.1 inch screen, over a 4,000 milliamp battery. This phone largely got praised a lot. And when it came in at $449 last year, everybody was like, oh, this phone's too expensive. I said it was too expensive. And just, important life lesson, just wait a little bit. The price will probably drop. You can get a Pixel 6a for $299 right now. You've been able to get it for $299 for like 7 months. So I don't expect that the Pixel 7a is going to sit at $499 very long. And that might be partly by design. Because if you look at the Pixel 7, it's $599 and it's routinely been $499 and $449. But it's really hard to take your flagship level series devices and cut the price by like $500 without somebody raising some serious eyebrows, right? Because then it looks like a fire sale. It looks like the brand's phone don't actually hold their value. So if you have a Pixel 7a, as soon as you slap that A on there, you can go down to the $299 ballpark range. So just some food for thought there. We'll discuss it some more. But the Pixel 7a. So what's changed? Well, when you take a look at it, we've got an upgraded camera setup. So they completely redid all three of the cameras. So it has a new selfie, a new primary, a new ultra wide compared to the ones on the Pixel 6a. Now the ones on the 6a were very good, but the primary camera on the 6a has been in circulation for like 5 years. So now we have a new selfie camera, we have a new ultra wide, and we have a big 64 megapixel camera on the back. So it brings it into the 20th century. And whenever it comes to this phone, I took a couple of shots. I think they look pretty good. I got to do some full actual testing and all that stuff when it comes to my review piece. But 24 hours in, I like it. The haptic feedback is fantastic. You've got the 90 hertz refresh rate. Yes, 90 hertz. So last year with the A series, we had 60 hertz, no wireless charging, slower charging, older cameras, and that's all been changed. We have all that new stuff now. 3 new cameras, 90 hertz refresh rate, and yes, we did get a $50 price bump. But if you were to look at any other phone and say, okay, yeah, we got a $50 price bump, but you got a better resolution. Oh, not a better resolution. You got a higher refresh rate, and you got 3 new cameras. That right there is usually what we get. If you take a look at the Samsung phones, we're lucky to get 1 new camera and the same refresh rate and all that stuff. So also added wireless charging, albeit it's quite slow. There's nothing remarkable talking about the charging on any Pixel phone, but it certainly is no spring chicken when it comes to the Pixel 7a. Slow wireless charging, as like the 20-watt wired charging. That's about it. So some of the things they did to shave down on the price. The back is actually plastic, but honestly, it feels and it looks great. It looks premium. The whole phone feels premium. And that's one of the nice things about the A series. I like what they've done. I liked what they did with the Pixel 6a, but then going to the Pixel 7a, I really like what they did. Of course, they shaved down the camera bump back here, so the camera bump is even less prominent. If you stack this up against the Pixel 7 or 7 Pro, which mine's around here somewhere, but they have a much more prominent, bigger camera bump. So you have a slimmed down camera bump, get the new 64 megapixel primary camera, new ultra wide camera, and it still retains its premium look and feel. IP67 dust and water resistance, no IP68, which is really not that big of a deal. Just don't throw it in the water anyway. Really, you shouldn't be taking your phone in the water. But it has IP67, that's totally fine. Gorilla Glass 3. I actually like Gorilla Glass 3. Why? Because that was the last year that was really good at protecting against micro abrasions. So the newer ones, Gorilla Glass 5, Victus, all that stuff, they seem like, yes, they're supposed to be more shatter resistant, but they pick up surface abrasions like nobody's business. On Gorilla Glass 3, it's much better at protection against surface abrasions, so I like that. Now, it's less shatter resistant, but here's the thing. If you drop your phone and it hits in the right spot, the glass is going to break, right? So put a case on it, put a screen protector on it. I already ordered mine. I had a couple concerned comments being like, oh, don't pull another Samsung A54 and drop it in your driveway, right? So Yeah, I've got some links in the description on some recommendations for cases and the screen protectors, so you can go ahead and get those on Amazon. They're pretty cheap, but yeah, I've already ordered one. It'll be here tomorrow. I wasn't expecting to have this device in hand today. So when it came to the Google I/O event, normally they announce stuff and then go, okay, like 3 or 4 weeks later, it'll be available, whatever. Well, they like, hey, here's the Pixel 7a. By the way, you can go get it in the store right now. So I hopped on Best Buy, and lo and behold, there was one at the Best Buy a mile down the street from my house. So I went and got it. So that's why I'm sitting here with the Pixel 7a now. But yeah, if you look at it from a Pixel 6a to Pixel 7a perspective, there's a lot of upgrades here. Like, there's a lot of serious stuff that's changed, and I think that this camera is probably going to be a lot better. I think this camera is going to help this phone stand out a lot. And I know it's not the really cool 50 megapixel camera we have in the Pixel 6, but they had to differentiate somehow, right? So my guess is the sensor's probably not as large, and it's probably not as amazing, but considering what they did with the smaller, older sensor in the Pixel 6a, I can only imagine how good this is going to be. And like I said, I took a few photos. It looked good enough to me, but the whole thing from the ground up. Also, you got Android 13. You're going to get 3 years of operating system updates, 5 years of security patches. Android 14 beta is already out. You can test it out if you want. I'm expecting great things for this phone. Now, I've talked about this a lot over the last few months because as soon as we saw a $499 price tag, it's like, what are they doing? Because the A series is traditionally cheaper. But I mean, last year, $449, this year, $499. I don't think it's going to be at this price tag very long. And also, they've got right now, if you get it through Best Buy, you can get $50 e-gift card, which I've got a link in the description for affiliate link for that. If you go through Google, they'll give you a free set of Pixel A series buds. And I don't really think that's that great of a deal. I don't think they're worth $100. They've been out for several years now. Of course, you get the exclusive coral color, and I've got the charcoal one. They've got the white one, and then they've also got the sea blue. I like the blue one. They didn't have it down the street. I got this one. But yeah, the coral one is exclusive through Google. Looks nice. The Pixel A series buds, they're fine. I mean, they're good, but it's kind of dated now. I'd like to see a new set of A series buds come out. That would be nice. But yeah, you can do that. Effectively, that's like a $100 value. So if you calculate that in as a $100 value, effectively you're walking out of the door with $600 worth of products at $500, if that matters to you. But I think that they've done a lot of good things here. And if we were just looking at this solely from a Pixel 6a to a 7a, massive upgrades. But then you look at it and go, well, it's basically a Pixel 7 with not as fast wireless charging, doesn't have the better Gorilla Glass on it, doesn't have IP68, doesn't presumably have the bigger, better sensor. But those things alone are going to be very, very narrow on the playing field when you take a look at this. So I think from an A series, this is the best A series Pixel phone they've ever made. It makes it feel almost like flagship. And that's cool. This is like a flagship killer almost. And I hate to use that term because it's been floating around for so long. But this phone, I think, will be special. I think, here's the thing. If people complaining about the 7, which of course me, I was doing that before, putting some context on it. If you got a 7, you're not looking at this phone a year later. You're looking towards the 8. If you got a 6A last year, you probably weren't in the cycle to buy a 7 because the 7 came out just a few months later. So 1 year cycle, 2 year cycle, if you're into the A series phones, this makes a lot of sense. And if you can get this for $499, granted, not a lot of people are going to buy this for $499. I can almost guarantee you it's going to fall under the Google price curse or curse for us, because what happens is 3 or 4 weeks later, after the sale period stuff is over, they always drop the price. Like, it always happens. And I can guarantee you, by the time we get around to fall, we get around to the shopping season, you'll probably be able to get it for $399. And this phone would be insane at $399. It's very complete, especially when you look at it from that regard. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, no wireless charging. And it has wireless charging. IP67, Gorilla Glass 3, like 4400 milliamp battery. The Tensor 2. The Tensor 2 is a big upgrade. It's a silent upgrade over the Tensor 1, but you get the better modem, better battery life, better power, better efficiency. You can do whatever you want with it. Of course, better AI and all that good stuff, and it's super important with all the AI and machine learning stuff. That stuff's coming. It's coming hard and fast into the Google world. We saw all the stuff they talked about with Google Bard and the updates. So that's the next frontier. And with the robustness of the AI and the machine learning and all the Tensor stuff in here, I think that this phone and this phone series is primed for some big success this year, and of course going to next year as well. And of course, it's supported for 5 years. So I think there's a lot to like here. There really is. You just have to forget about the whole 7-7A correlation. People who are going to buy the 7 already got it. And then they're going to wipe that out. As we get towards the 8, the 7 is going to go bye-bye. So the other thing we can think about, though, if this is $499, we can almost assuredly expect a Pixel 8 price bump this fall. So it wouldn't surprise me if it goes to, let's say $649 and $949. But if they can keep it at the same price, that would be great. But then you're looking at, okay, $100 cheaper than this. So this may be a strategy move to try and get the initial 6A to 7A, the 5A to 7A traffic. Once we get the Pixel 8 around, maybe it even stays at the same spot, clear out the Pixel 6A inventory, and then this drops to $399, and then this phone looks brilliant at $399. You can't hold on to the 7 for another year and then be like, oh, we dropped it to $399, because then you're like, well, how much is this phone really worth at this point then, right? So if that's kind of how they do it, maybe that could actually work. It just looks really weird with the 7A and the 7 both on the scene at the same time. But I think that landscape is going to get shuffled up a lot once the 8 gets here, and then we'll see the real value of the 7A. But if you're coming over from a 6A, huge upgrade. If you're coming over from a 5A, 4A, any of that stuff, a masterful upgrade and a fantastic phone. So I think if you're in that ballpark, if you're in that category, if you're looking for something and you're interested in the Pixel A series, this is good. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get the 7. If you want the 7 and you can get it for around the same price or cheaper, buy the 7. Google, it's their own dumb fault for cannibalizing their sales, right? I mean, that's a win for you. We're complaining about this, saying, okay, this makes no sense. But ultimately, if you can get a 7 for the same price or cheaper than the 7A, then that's an even bigger win for you because it's a better phone, right? So all things considered, I mean, I don't have any problems with it. I went and bought it with my own money. Google didn't send this to me. I buy pretty much all of my stuff. I even pre-ordered the Pixel Fold, which I'm excited about too. But I'm going to wrap this one up. I just wanted to talk about this and be like, yeah, there's a lot of merit to this. And if we looked at this and went from, let's say this was the S22 to the S23, people would be losing their mind with how many upgrades are here. There's a huge amount of upgrades between the 7A and the 6A, and especially before that. So going to go ahead and sign off on this one. If you have any questions or comments, please go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.